it's all part of the plan.
People don't like you for being yourself.
Be careful who you trust.
It's a cinematic.
What's going on, YouTube? What's going on? This is the Low Key Cave, Keyshawn Knobs YouTube page, aka Mr. Low Key. And this time we are back with a TV show review, and we got American Horror Stories. Not American Horror Story, American Horror Stories. We pretty much got the new anthology series coming from Ryan Murphy. This is a spin-off of American Horror Story. And like I've said before, when I've done my trailer reactions to American Horror Stories, in American Horror Stories, Ryan Murphy is going to be doing different stories each episode. You know, with American Horror Story, you had different stories each season. Like season 1 was Murder House, completely focused on the Murder House that for whole season. Season 2 you had the Asylum, which completely focused on the whole asylum. Season 3 Witches, and so on and so on. Basically, with American Horror Story, you had one story each season. It was different stories each season, but one story each season. With American Horror Stories, you're getting different stories each episode. Like every episode is going to be a different story. With this one, I guess they was just doing it because, you know, it's the first, it was like American Horror Story been going for a little minute because of the pandemic or whatnot, but this pretty much was getting them started back, kicking off the show. And I was wondering, like, if they're going to do it like this, they doing 2 episodes, is this one complete story? And I'm thinking it is, but with American Horror Stories, this is pretty much episode 1 and 2 review, Rubber One Men. And we pretty much got them. I didn't even know they was going to be doing this, so I'm guessing we're going to be doing stories surrounding topics that had to do with American Horror Story, you know, like Murder House, Asylum, Coven, Freak Show. We're probably going to be not with those characters, but just everything surrounding those situations. Because in this first episode, we return to Murder House. We have our protagonist, I don't know if you want to call it that, Scarlett, who moves in with her 2 dads. Yes, her dad's a blah, 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 whatever, but she has 2 dads. They are together. But anyway, she moves into the house with them, Murder House, so you pretty much know all this goofy. It's, to be honest, a lot of that spooky shit don't start really happening with them like you would think it did, like it has in previous episodes of American Horror Story. But I guess because Scarlett is pretty much one of those people that's embracing it, or she's already got some darkness with her, so she is not going to see the things the same way other people come in the house who have seen them, because she's our main character, Scarlett. She's into very, very, very dark porn, like pain porn, like people being put in pain in the middle of sex and whatnot. And it's a funny scene in here where both her dads are pretty much asking about this, because they pretty much be checking on shit she be looking at online or whatnot, and asking her why she like enjoy watching pain or whatnot or whatever. But this story is really interesting, and I actually got into it. I'm gonna explain why I felt like this is, to me, it's not like so much differs from American Horror Story as far as American Horror Stories. I feel like, I mean, this is American Horror Story. This is Ryan Murphy. And the one thing I would say is I just wanted a little bit, I wanted a lot more horror in it. I didn't want all the extra spectacle. You know how Ryan Murphy is, and you know his craft and the way he does things. I'm cool with that American Horror Story. Even with this, if you go throw a little bit in there, sprinkle it, fine. But I just needed more horror. You know, in the essence of Halloween. I ain't gonna say so much, even Exorcist or Conjuring. Like, give us a little. I just want some horror. Insidious. Give us some more entangled horror. But like, we understand. Like, honestly, with this though, it's got some sex, and you know, man, come on. But it's, to me, Ron Murphy has a way of just pushing shit like just in your face, being extra about it, and I'm like, damn, man. I get it. I just get it. It's some crazy shit going on in this, but I feel like you can do that with American Horror Story. Let's just get more horror oriented with this. And I ain't gonna lie, I still enjoyed this episode, and I'm gonna keep watching them and see how crazy he can get. Cause maybe he got some episodes that actually dives more into the horror. But with this one, like I said, you got our main protagonist Scarlett, and she starts doing some shit where I'm like, okay, I like where we kind of going with this. And I'm not, well, this came on with what's her name, so you should know. So this, yeah, spoilers. She pretty much gets into a situation where she's pretty much not, she's not the socialite at school, and she ends up befriending somebody. This girl, I forgot her name, but I think it's Paris Jackson who's playing that role. Michael Jackson, ain't that Michael Jackson daughter, Paris Jackson? But anyway, she ends up befriending Paris Jackson, and Paris Jackson got a bunch of other friends, and Scarlett doesn't like the other friends, but she likes girls. Let's go ahead and get that out the way. Scarlett likes girls, and she pretty much starts to have kind of conversations with the other girl, Paris Jackson's character, and they start to seem like they actually becoming friends. And you have a situation where Paris Jackson invites Scarlett over for like a sleepover, and Scarlett's like, nah, I don't like your friends, they bitches and whatnot. And she's like, come on, I'll protect you. And she's basically flirting with Scarlett, saying, you know, when the girls go to sleep, me and you can, you know. So you had a situation where Scarlett pretty much goes over there, and it turns into a fucked up situation. And they basically, it's like that Carrie Essence type shit. They basically set up, she's not really trying to be her friend. They're basically messing with her, got her saying all type of crazy shit, and recording her on live, like online for everybody to see. You know where this going. So Scarlett pretty much crying and shit. She leaves, she runs out and goes home, and she pretty much calls them, threatening them. Well, yeah, she calls them, and they laughing, they getting the joy out of shit. And she calls and tell them like, I'm gonna kill myself, and I'm pretty much gonna be blaming y'all. And you know, like they done this shit, like you start, like it's almost like bullying and shit, bullying somebody to the point of killing themselves. So Paris Jackson characters start like, yo, wait, we were just playing and blah blah blah. And Scarlett tells them, y'all either come to my house right now, or I'm gonna do it and y'all gonna be the blame for it. I was like, oh shit, I know where this is going. She gonna fuck y'all up. She gonna kill everybody. I knew where this is going, because she's been messing with the rubber suit. You know the rubber suit, the famous rubber suit that's been all throughout American Horror Story. Like, this nigga ain't been going nowhere. I think he been in almost every season. Heavy? Maybe he wasn't in Coven or Freak Show. He might, or the one with about Donald Trump and the politics. He probably wasn't in 3 of them, maybe. And the rest of them I think he done been in. But you had a situation where Paris Jackson and other friends ends up going to Scarlett's house, which is Murder House. And this is where we get the crazy shit, and you start to see the ghost or whatnot. Like, it starts going insane. And I actually enjoyed that. I was like, okay, I like this. I like what they doing with this. I like this little story or whatnot. Give or take, I haven't seen this type of story a lot of times, but I enjoy what they doing. It's supposed to be like a little short combined story. The thing I would say about this episode, both episodes though, is that they get into this silly realm to me. The silly shit where, you know, in Murder House, you get killed, you pretty much got to stay there. That's your permanent home. Besides Halloween night, which you get to go out. And they do some shit where it's like, it's straight American Horror Story. And I'm like, I don't see the difference with this and American Horror Story. I just didn't. And I feel like this could have been told in American Horror Story. In past episodes, this could have been told. I'm not saying it's a bad episode, but as far as what you're doing with trying to do a spinoff, I just wanted to separate from them. I feel like you can do those type of stories with your original story, with your original show, American Horror Story. I honestly don't see why. Kind of don't see us going back. And if you are gonna go back to Murder House, give us something different. I just feel like we've done this with people getting murdered in Murder House and they gotta stay there. I feel like we kind of done it with the first season. But you know, in Apocalypse, you had them doing this. People had to stay, and people. It's just a lot of that in this to me. And later on, like in the beginning, I was kind of enjoying it, but later on in this episode, even in episode 2, because it's basically a 2-parter, Rubber Woman part 1 and 2, and they get into that what they was doing with Apocalypse at the end, where you die in the house, you trying to see if you want to die with me so we can stay together forever. Like, they start doing a bunch of that. Not to say I ain't trying to enjoy that, but it was like, man, we done this in American Horror Story. So that was pretty much my only gripe with what they did with that. But like I said, I'm gonna pretty much stick with it and try to see what else they can come up with. Hopefully they come up with some better stories and they don't just dive into this. Maybe they, like I said, they pretty much, to me, with them doing Murder House, I think they're gonna return into Asylum. They probably do something with Coven, Freak Show. They probably gonna be doing all type of shit. They might even bring, I would like to see that if they bring the clown back from Freak Show, a happy smiley face or whatever the fuck he was. That would be alright if they do something crazy with that. But overall, as far as this was still a good episode. It wasn't a bad episode or nothing. Like I said, I done been around with this shit for 10 years. So, I mean 9 years. So, I pretty much done indulged in it and delved in it so long that I feel like I can't help it. I gotta watch it. I almost feel like American Horror Stories is what I am with The Walking Dead, where I've been with it so long, I'm just here now. For real. I gotta say something though. I feel like American Horror Story is still decent. It's pretty good still. Not like The Walking Dead, where it's like, damn, I'm just here to be here. Like, I don't even enjoy watching this shit no more, for real. But y'all let me know, because I feel like I hope they get more into the horror in American Horror Stories. I hope Ryan Murphy does some better stories. I hope we get into some full out horror. But y'all let me know in the comment section, how are y'all feeling about Ryan Murphy's new spin-off series, American Horror Stories? Are y'all enjoying it? Does it give y'all a different look on his storytelling as far as what he's doing with his spin-off? Or does it give you that same feeling that you get when you watching the original American Horror Stories? Let me know in the comment section, man, if y'all enjoying this. If you're not, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. This is the road to 300 subs. Shout out to all my subscribers. Shout out to everybody checking out my videos, man. We out.
On our society.
I'm sorry. That was dark. I went dark. I apologize.